very dear friend, Dinah Ross. She's the kind of person I can tell her anything, the most private of secrets.
You say your brother was not a pedophile, absolutely.
Was not a pedophile.
He wasn't a pedophile. Was he gay?
No way.
Of himself is ugly. Changed his nose, and his nose got smaller and smaller. Alleged drug overdose. Maybe he was on drugs. Who knows whether he was on drugs?
So you know this is a really sad time right now, but we're celebrating his life. Your thoughts right now on the situation and the timing of this tragedy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just somebody that changed my life. You know what I'm saying?
Michael constantly told me, Latoya, if I die, they're gonna murder me, they're gonna kill me.
Diana Ross has had enough of these Hollywood snakes who were scheming against Michael Jackson when he was alive and then cried crocodile tears after he was gone. And y'all, Diana is naming names.
We've shared many magic moments together, the early days and television specials, recording, and doing the movie The Wiz. Well, you know he's an exceptional human being.
Diana Ross, you were there, and now again you are here. I'm crazy about you.
Diana Ross, one of Michael Jackson's closest friends, is done with the lies. She's made it clear she never believed the disturbing allegations about MJ, and she's calling out the hypocrisy of the media and fake friends who turned on him. Diana wrote, "This is what's on my heart this morning. I believe and trust that Michael Jackson was and is a magnificent, incredible force to me and to many others. Stop in the name of love." Now, what set Diana off was the news that just broke about Michael Jackson's estate facing a $400 million lawsuit from MJ's accusers, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, the same two men from the Oprah-backed Leaving Neverland. This all comes right after estate executors John Branca and John McClane filed a motion responding to Paris Jackson's request for more transparency. Paris asked the court to limit payments until invoices are approved and demanded paperwork showing millions in legal fees paid out between 2019 and 2023. And she even accused a closely knit group of lawyers of blatantly stealing money from the estate. But hold up, why do Robson and Safechuck even have the nerve to still extort Michael Jackson's family? Simple, Oprah. She gave them the platform, profited off the documentary, and backed their victim narrative, even though both men previously testified under oath that Michael never touched them. First, these two claimed they only wanted justice, and when Leaving Neverland dropped, they swore it wasn't about money. But now it's 400 million? It's clear that Michael Jackson is still being treated like a cash cow, milked by opportunists, media vultures, and clout chasers 16 years after his death. And let's be real, according to Diana Ross and other insiders, without Oprah's backing, Robson and Safechuck wouldn't have gotten half the publicity. And even members of Michael's own family are now openly calling Oprah out for siding with his accusers. Michael's nephew, Taj Jackson, recently wrote this on X. "My brothers and I tried to warn you guys over a decade ago about this family. They lost all respect from me when they chose to purposely scam the public with fake Michael Jackson songs, sung by a sound-alike. Then even went on Oprah to help sell this lucrative lie to the world. Money and greed can do horrible things to weak people. I'm so disgusted but not surprised, unfortunately. They sold their soul and integrity a while ago. I'm just pissed that my uncle wasted so much time, energy, and money with these vultures." And if you don't know how far Oprah's sabotage goes, buckle up because this isn't new. Oprah has allegedly tried to destory Michael since the allegations first surfaced. In fact, during his trial in 2005, right as the jury was deliberating, she aired a special that clearly aimed at swaying public opinion and pushing for a conviction. And according to UK journalist C. Thompson, if she had done this in the UK, her actions would have constituted an extremely serious criminal offense, punishable by a prison sentence. MJ's brother Randy also later said that this was the final straw because while the jury was deliberating on MJ's fate, Oprah chose to up her ratings by broadcasting a special about his alleged crimes. However, the jury concluded that there were no crimes committed, and they found Michael not guilty on all counts. Even after the FBI watched MJ for over a decade and raided Neverland multiple times, they came up with nothing. Even after the FBI watched MJ for over a decade and raided Neverland multiple times, they came up with nothing. But that's not even the wildest part. One of the accuser's own fathers was caught on tape admitting he planned to cash in and bragging he'd humiliate Michael beyond belief.
Beyond belief. I will not believe it. He will not believe what's going to happen. Yeah. Beyond his worst nightmares. Sell one more record.
This attorney I found, I interviewed several, and I picked the nastiest son of a bitch I could find. Once I make that phone call, this guy is just going to destroy everybody in sight. Any devious, nasty, cruel way that he can do it. And I've given him full authority to do that. It'll be a massacre if I don't get what I want.
If I go through with this, I win big time.
I will get everything I want, and they will be destroyed forever. They will be destroyed. June is going to lose Jordy. She will have no right to ever see him again. Yeah. That's a fact, Dave. That's what's going to happen. Michael's career will be over.
Does that help Jordy?
Michael's career will be over.
And does that help Jordy?
That's irrelevant to me.
But fast forward to 2019, 10 years after Michael's death, and HBO released the controversial Leaving Neverland, and Oprah wasted no time piling on. She hosted a special and gave Robson and Safechuck a primetime platform to drag Michael's name through the mud.
The attention and the seduction from the predator, who is probably going to be somebody you know. Right. In order for it to work, it has to be somebody you know, somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your, it feels good. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And I have said for years, if the is any good, you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know it's happened. And if they is any good, he or she is going to make you feel like you're a part of it.
Naturally, Michael...
To my mom, I go, are you really trying to go at Michael and use me for a money grab?
On top of that, Leaving Neverland was later exposed for inaccuracies, with timelines that didn't add up. And Michael's former head of security, Bill Whitfield, called out Robson and Safechuck, saying he could prove they lied about when they claimed to have seen Michael. But Oprah doubled down and fired back at the backlash, claiming her Leaving Neverland special was about exposing a pattern of monsters in Hollywood.
So I had a lot of hateration, but I also, when I first saw that documentary, I realized that a lot of people are going to get triggered, are going to be triggered by watching it. Yes. And that a lot of people will not understand what the pattern is, because I had done 217 shows trying to get people to understand that it's not about one person, that it is about the pattern, it is about the seduction. And people call it molestation, but there is a big seducing that goes on, and the pattern of that seducing. And that was important enough for me to take the hateration for.
But wait, why didn't Oprah ever do a special on the victims of her friend Harvey Weinstein and his so-called pattern of seduction? Michael's family also wanted to know the answer to this, and his niece Brandy Jackson and nephew Taj called out Oprah publicly, accusing her of exploiting the Jackson family for ratings.
Because I mean, Oprah was also the one that, you know, when my uncle passed, she wanted the exclusive interview with my grandma and the kids. And I was there and she was talking about how Michael was misrepresented. You know, no one understood Michael and we were trying to get the real Michael. So I think in a sense, Oprah will say what Oprah wants to say to get the interview, you know, and she's done that to our family many times.
Brandy also slammed Oprah for not fact-checking Leaving Neverland, while Taj added she basically co-signed the documentary before the public even had a chance to decide for themselves.
As soon as that documentary was announced that it was going to be aired, it was followed up with Oprah's interview.
Yeah.
So we knew that that interview was going to be happening with Oprah before we even saw the film.
Yeah. She blessed it, basically said, this is the truth and you guys run with it. Especially since there's plenty of people that Oprah knows that she could have done a special on, you know. Someone very big right now that's in the news that no one's talking about, that she's friends with, you know, Mr. Harvey Weinstein.
However, the rabbit hole goes even deeper because Oprah might not be the only celeb tied to the alleged plot against MJ. Diddy and Jay-Z are reportedly linked too, and the link here is Fahim Muhammad, Michael's former head of security, who later went to work for Diddy. Fahim is named in one of the lawsuits filed against Diddy during the RICO case, and the lawsuit says that Fahim had the power to make people and problems disappear, and that Diddy's industry higher-ups employed and empowered Fahim to pay off law enforcement. And here's where it gets even sketchier. Fahim became Michael Jackson's head of security at just 21, fresh out of college, and was at the scene when Michael died. He even later testified in Dr. Conrad Murray's trial that he'd only been hired 10 months before MJ's death.
How long had you worked security for Mr. Jackson?
Approximately 10 months.
And what were your responsibilities?
I was the chief of his security, so my responsibilities ranged from making sure his house was protected, making sure his children were protected, and making sure his day-to-day activities and movement was all safe and planned and mapped out.
But wait a minute, are we really supposed to believe Michael picked a total rookie for such a critical role? Well, according to journalist Ian Carroll, someone else may have hired Fahim on MJ's behalf, just like they did with Dr. Murray.
For most of Jackson's career, his head of security was Bill Bray, who was his mentor and basically his father. And the two were extremely close. Bill ran his security until he was 70 when he retired, and Jackson continued to pay his medical bills until he died at age 80. And once Bill retired, Jackson was then protected by other security people that came and went, and he wound up with this guy who has direct connections to Diddy's blackmail operations, who was directly complicit in covering up crimes for Diddy and covering up murders, covering up drug use, human trafficking. This is the guy that was protecting Michael Jackson the day that he died. The day that he was on drugs, after he was probably already asleep, and the only witnesses, there were no witnesses to the crime. I'm honestly kind of surprised that this guy never got checked into as a suspect.
And y'all, Ian also discovered that Fahim might have ties to government intelligence, which makes this whole thing even more sinister.
Looking up Fahim, and where did I find another article about him? On Penn State, the Wharton School. He didn't attend it as a student, he was invited as a speaker for this Wharton real estate entrepreneurship event, which makes perfect sense. He has a real estate investment company or whatever, but if you've been following along, you would know that the Wharton School comes up an awful lot when we're talking about intelligence agencies and people associated with the CIA and the FBI, etc. Just thought it was interesting that they invited him to be a honored speaker at their event. And now, here's the best part. Check this out. This is in all of his bios, by the way, but we're pointing it out now. In 2008, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration with a concentration in real estate and marketing. Okay? Do you realize what's wrong with that yet? Anything coming to mind? When did Michael Jackson die? June 25th, 2009. Jackson died from cardiac arrest caused by a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose, caused by his doctor apparently. Hold up. Hold the phone. Pause. Why is a dude who just graduated college last year with a business and real estate degree the head of security for the king of pop, for Michael Jackson, the most famous musician of all time? What's going on?
Now, as for Jay-Z, he reportedly couldn't stand Michael because Michael openly flirted with Beyonce, and we all know how possessive and insecure Jay is.
Thank you, Beyonce. I love you, Beyonce.
So looking at the bigger picture, including Michael's battles with Sony and how they profited off his death, it raises questions about a possible industry-wide plot against him. And here's another interesting coincidence with Sony. In May 2009, just 1 month before MJ died, Jay-Z closed a major deal linking Roc Nation releases with Sony's Epic Records for distribution, and the same with Diddy. He also closed a deal with Sony shortly after MJ's death, when Bad Boy Entertainment struck an exclusive partnership with Epic Records. So, are all these connections really just coincidences? Knowing what dark forces Michael was up against in the industry, is it really a stretch to think some people wanted him gone? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with Diana Ross that there was a plot against Michael and that certain celebrities were involved?